So you want to know the best exercise for neck pain. In today's video, we are going to take you out on the gym floor and we are going to demonstrate a routine that you can do in under 5 minutes that will deliver amazing results for your neck. All that and more coming up right after this. We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. In case we haven't met, my name's Rad Burmeister. This is Yanni Burmeister, my brother. We are the co-founders of Unity Gym and the co-creators of the UMS, the Unified Movement System, where we teach you how to nourish and move instead of diet and exercise. And today we're talking all things neck pain. It's a big topic for people, and we're going to teach you a really good 5-minute routine that you can do on your own at home.
Yeah, awesome. Look, we got a lot to dissect and talk about today. In the video, we're going to show you spinal mobilisation drills, which are absolutely revolutionary if you've never tried this stuff before and you've been suffering from a stiff neck or neck pain. We're also going to show you some very, very good and effective stretches that you can do to stretch the sternocleidomastoids, all of the scalenes and the traps, and the levator scapulae, which is a common problematic muscle or tendon in the back of the neck. And then we're also going to show you some mobilisation stuff that you can do and some self-massage and a couple of really cool tools that you can pick up for very, very little commitment on Amazon. So let's dive out on the gym floor.
Sure.
And
do we need to go on the gym floor for this one, considering it's all going to be sitting still?
I guess not. I can bring the stuff in here.
Yeah. Well, I'll get started. You can go if you want to grab it.
Okay.
So the first thing that to do is, in all honesty, if you're suffering chronic neck pain and you haven't seen a chiropractor, I highly recommend that you go and see a chiropractor. There's only so much that we can do with our own stuff. I shouldn't say that. The majority of the results that you're going to get are what you do yourself. But if you've gotten to a point where your neck is so bad that you're in chronic pain, then seeing a chiropractor is going to be really, really good for you. So that said, let's jump into the stretches. So there's a couple of stretches that we do sitting down. I've got to get to the front of the chair to do this. And what I'm going to do for all of these stretches, I'm going to grab onto the edge of my seat so that I'm anchoring this arm down. And the first one, I'm just going to bring my arm up like this and just gently pull down. I'm pretty much using just the weight of my arm here. I'm not actually forcing my head down. So I'm just going to go down like this, and you can hold this for, just like any other stretch, you can hold it for between 30 and 60 seconds.
Did you talk about the fact that it's super important to keep the shoulder down?
I just did, yeah. So
just making sure.
By grabbing onto the seat, there you're keeping that shoulder down. The next one that we can do is we're going to turn to the side on a 45-degree angle, and I'm going to bring my hand behind my head like this and pull it down directly towards my armpit.
Still anchoring that shoulder down.
Every one of these, we're anchoring the shoulder down like that, okay? And the next one that we can do is grabbing on, is from here going straight forward. So now I'm going to grab onto my head and just pull down like that while I'm still anchoring my arm.
Yep, and he's pulling his scapula back and down, the shoulder blades back and down.
You can also do that with both hands. So that is actually a different stretch. When you do it with one hand and with both hands, it does hit different muscles.
And the last one is the levator scapula, which you actually go into a tricep stretch on this side. And then with that hand, you tilt sideways, down, nose to the armpit. There we go. And what we're doing here with the tricep is he is just locking the scapula in position. So he's freezing the scapula. By lifting the arm up, your scapula naturally goes down and back as hard as it can go, and then you do the stretch. And that's very important because the levator scapular muscle goes from the very top corner of the scapula up into the first 3 cervical vertebrae from the base of the skull. And so we need to position that scapula in a really advantageous position for that to occur.
So that's not the last one. The last one is I'm going to find my collarbone. I'm going to put my thumb on my collarbone, put my hand on top of that thumb, push down and then drag down. So I'm pulling those muscles away from me like that. Then I'm going to turn my head away from it and lean back like that.
Oh, and that's a really nice one.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
That's for the sternocleidomastoids here and the scalenes in front of the neck. And it's a really nice stretch. You'll feel it underneath the jaw and all the way down the front of the neck there.
Now, those are some really good stretches, but in all honesty, when you once you develop a certain level of strength and mobility in your neck, you'll start to do those a hell of a lot less. Those are the things that we personally do the least, but they were a part of the journey to get us to where we are. It was something that helped us along the way. And that's what this whole process is of overcoming pain and overcoming chronic issues in your body. It's about going on the journey to get where you are. So at our level now, we do more mobility work and active range of motion work. So the first couple of ones we do here is just turning the head from left to right like this. And these ones that I'm showing you now, this is more like preventative things. You definitely will do them once if you were experiencing neck pain and neck weakness and neck problems, but you'll get to a point where you're not experiencing pain or anything, but you're still going to do this stuff to not get pain. So turning from left to right and going as far as you can is the first one. The next one is just rolling your head around, and when you go to the side, when you go to here, you're going to turn your head and then come back as far as you can, then turn your head to the other side, then roll down and roll your chin across your chest like that. And you can do 5 to 10 reps on each one of these. And then we move into some of the more advanced and harder stuff. We spoke about some of this stuff yesterday. So these are the mandible circles. You're going to touch your hands together, put your hands against your chest, excuse me, touch your fingers to your jaw, and then bring your hands out just about an inch or so. The less flexible you are, the less control you've got, the shorter the distance will be. And then I'm going to look down at the ground here, and what I'm going to do is bring my head to the side until my jaw touches my finger, and then I'm going to relax. Then I'm going to bring my head to the other side until my jaw touches the finger, and then relax. What I'm looking for here is that from my shoulders down, there's no movement at all. So this is wrong. Okay, that's totally wrong. The next thing is I don't want to turn my head. So this is wrong. Okay, and the next thing is I don't want to tilt my head. So this is wrong. Okay, and if you look at it when I do it right, so from the shoulders down is going to be still. There's going to be no turning of the head and no tilting of the head. What's the difference? And you can see when I do this, what I'm looking for is to try to get that last little millimeter or two of movement. I'm not just going like this. That's not really going to do much for you at a basic level. At a more advanced level, you can absolutely move like what I'm doing here, but at a basic level, it's going to be like this. Yeah, there's the contact and then come back.
For those of you, and I need to stress this, who have a stiff neck, these drills are going to be a revelation, but they're also going to be an immense frustration in the beginning, because there's a very big chance that you're going to have one of the reasons why you've got a stiff and sore neck is that you've lost the neural connection to the muscles that Rad is actually using there to create these lateral movements. And it's very hard to reconnect that, and it takes time and it takes practice, and you just have to work at it, and it's a game of millimeters. But over time, if you start to do it daily for 5 minutes a day, you will unlock your neck again. And that's the only thing that's going to fix your pain. You might get temporary relief from a massage, or you might get temporary relief from an adjustment from a chiropractor, which is definitely a good thing to do, but it won't solve the problem. It's just treating the symptom. It's not treating the cause. The cause is going to be reconnecting to those muscles, learning how to move them, eventually being able to do circles and more sort of wavy movements. We do a lot of spinal integration from the cervical through the thoracic to the lumbar spine, and that's the key to a healthy spine is movement, and it should be daily movement. So that's very, very important. Now the last thing we're going to do, you have anything else to add?
I do, but it's on a slightly different topic.
We won't go on any tangents just yet. The last thing we're going to talk about is two tools. I have two different thicknesses and hardnesses on these massage balls. I don't know if you can see this, but this one I can crush with my hand. This one I cannot. It's much harder. These I'm going to show you how to do a trap release in just a moment, but this here is what's called a theracane. So think therapeutic cane. And this is amazing for release and self-massage to get into those points, those knots. You can get the back through the traps, through the rhomboids, all of the trapezius here. But for the trap release, we'll quickly go out on the gym floor. Are you?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Richie just needs to set up because I need to do it against a wall. I can't do it here. I'm not going to destroy the wall. And these are amazing, guys. I'll link these. These are like $20 on Amazon, and they're so worth it. You can really hit all those spots that you love someone else massaging, but you don't have to ask someone to massage. So let's just quickly go out on the gym floor. I'll need you to just talk through this.
Yeah, sure. So what Yanni's going to be doing, the whole idea of this trigger point release is you're using an object like the physio ball here to basically give yourself a massage. So Yanni's just getting in against the wall here like this, and that you can see what he's doing. He has to get down because we want the pressure going down onto the top of the trapezius, and he's just working around. And the beautiful thing about this is you can feel the spots where it's sore and tight yourself. So everyone's going to be different. You know, some people might feel it right high up in the traps here, and some people might feel it right low down in the traps here. The traps also are on your back as well. So you've got the upper, mid, and lower trap. You might need to release your mid and lower trap as well, and you do that by turning your back to the wall and putting the ball against the wall that way, if you want to show mid and lower trap. This also gets into the rhomboids. The rhomboids are a muscle that connects from the spine to the medial blade of the scapula, and this all plays a role in neck pain. You know, even upper cross syndrome, which we've talked about before, plays a massive role in neck pain. So if you're, this is so therapeutic. This feels good. It's not it's like getting a nice massage, you know. So if your shoulders have forward rounding and weakness in the scapular retractors, then you're going to need to work on that as well, because all of that plays a role in neck pain. So everything that we've shown you, do you want to go back inside?
Yeah, there was one more thing I wanted to show, a neck pull. So this actually works best if you've got like a towel rolled up or something. I don't have anything, but just imagine that I'd rolled up a towel behind my neck here, and then we lean against the wall and do a neck pull. You can do this on the floor as well. It's actually easier to do on the floor. So I'm tucking my chin in and elongating the back of my neck as much as I can, holding for about 10 seconds and relax. Pulling that in as hard as I can. What you got to remember is that when we sit at the desk, we peer into a computer, and it puts the neck in a very awkward position for long periods of time. So what all of the mandible lateral movements do, and the neck pokes and all this stuff does, is it re-gaps and opens up the spine again, plus connects and reactivates and reinvigorates all of those muscle systems. And the last one I want to do is, we did do this yesterday, but I want to show you again because it's so important, which is the Pec Minor Release. So just talk them through the Pec Minor about what I'm doing.
So the Pec Minor is a small muscle that connects onto the third, fourth, and fifth rib, and it starts from, if this is the center of Yanni's chest, it starts from about here, like that, and then it wraps up around here and goes up onto the top of the scapula. So it's very important to release this for neck, shoulder pain. There's so many things that go wrong from a tight Pec Minor. So the way you find it...
goes to the front of the scapula.
Okay, yeah, the top of the scapula, yeah. So the way you find it is you go, on a man, you go from the nipple and you go a few inches up. About there is where you're going to be rubbing, and you're going to be rubbing down this way so that you're going across the Pec Minor fibers.
And there are a couple of ways that you can do that. You could, if you were sort of savvy to it, you could do it here, and I can roll that.
Yanni's saying you wouldn't be able to hear him now. He's saying that if you're savvy and you know what you're doing, you can go on the wall here like this. But it's probably,
if you don't mind putting dents in your wall.
But it's probably easier on the floor like this. You do need to lift your arm up to the side the way Yanni's doing. That actually elongates the Pec Major fibers, muscle fibers, so it thins them out and it allows you to get through those into the Pec Minor fibers a little bit easier. And yeah, this is just an awesome thing to do. Honestly, I think everybody should be doing this one. There's very few people that we come across in Unity Gym that don't need to release their pec minor. So this is a really good one. All right, do you want to go into the room and we'll bring this in for a landing? So if we come on in, the thing that I wanted to say, and I have, I just have to check. Okay, Greg Stewart has sent us an email saying that he's got an injury. It's a compression fracture at T9, and it seems that any kind of rotation, extension and flexibility, as well as actual pressure from, say, lying on it or prodding it with a finger sets it off. It does seem somewhat connected to both shoulder and hip flexibility, and he has a kyphotic and lordotic spine, which I'll explain in a minute. And he worries that when it stretches, it worsens, and he's saying, how long should I try the stretching for from our programs before giving up? And then he asked about my experience, because I've had a lot of injuries with my back, and he's looking at our emails and saying, you know, with your experience, he's saying, with your experience, how long should I be doing this for before I go, okay, this isn't working, and give up? First thing I'm going to say, kyphosis is when your shoulders are like this, so that's what he means by a kyphotic spine, and lordosis means the spine is like this. So he's got a double whammy there.
To be very clear, kyphosis is quite extreme. To have kyphosis, it's usually degenerative and it's usually genetic, but made worse by environment. And kyphosis is when the top of the spine and neck have really bent over. So in most cases, you can have they call it a kyphotic spine, but it's usually just excessively rounded shoulders.
Jensen Bell, thanks for tuning in, brother, and thanks for commenting. And thanks for the love, man. That's a really nice comment for you to leave for us. So what I want to say to you, Greg, is the journey that I've been on to get my body better and to where it is now has been for more than half of my life. When I was 17, for the first time, so up until the age of 17, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing and no consideration into anything that I was doing. I was just an extremely active person. And unfortunately, I was heavily into rollerblading when I was a teenager. And the reason I say unfortunately, because what I know now about the body, the impact that I was putting on my spine from always jumping, over things and landing on concrete, going downstairs really fast, and also just the way that you fold over and your hips are in flexion and the way that you're using your muscles, it shaped my body in a really, really bad way in those crucial years of development. And then when I started martial arts when I was 17, I experienced a pain from my lower back that shot down my legs that was so bad that for about 10 weeks at age 17, I had to walk with a walking stick, and I was going to a chiropractor every week and then a masseuse every other week. And it took me so long to even get to a point where I could not be in agonizing pain. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And that was my journey. That was the start of my journey of trying to fix my back. For the next 10 years, I did whatever I could to just manage it. It was, basically when the pain got really bad, I'd do something to try and stop it. But I still had no idea about what I needed to be doing to have long-lasting relief. And I became a personal trainer when I was 25 or 26, I think. And after the first year or so of being a personal trainer, I started to learn more and more about this. And in all honesty, ever since then, I've been on a mission to do the things that I know are good for my body. So there are absolutely things that I tried to do that didn't work for me, that caused me far more pain than I had to try something else. But you know what? I didn't have a YouTube channel like Unity V to watch where we share insights every day. I certainly didn't have two people that I could ask any questions and they would answer them for me on a show like this. And we didn't even have the internet back then. So I just had to figure out what I could from going to teachers. So back then, I had to go to a teacher and go see what this guy could teach me. And then I'd go to a chiropractor and see what they taught me. And you had to just over time put it together. And what took me 15 years to put together, you can learn in 20 minutes of watching one of our shows.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, seriously, seriously.
The good thing, it's Jensen.
No, not Jensen,
sorry,
Greg.
Greg. The good thing, Greg, about suffering such a severe injury, if you can draw any positive from it, is that it is something that has to be fixed. There's no choice. The choice of whether you're whether you're going to exercise or not for the rest of your life has been taken away from you. The decision's been made. If you don't exercise for the rest of your life, you're going to be in excruciating pain. And I can guarantee you that, because I've had the same thing. I fell off a horse and had a spiral fracture to my lumbar spine, which is not as severe as a fracture to the thoracic spine, but it's still very painful and very uncomfortable. And it was the reason why I started to exercise, much like Rad. We exercise to explore our bodies and fix our pain. And it's a blessing in disguise. And I know that's hard to see, but it's certainly the reason why we are where we are now.
Without a doubt. The biggest leaps forward that Yanni and I have ever gone through have happened with our own physical capabilities and understanding of what to do, have happened from the worst injuries that we've had.
Yeah.
Because you get forced.
Yeah.
Or like you can be sitting there, in a little bit of pain, I can't be bothered training today. But the second you can't move, the second you get a slap tear and a torn supraspinatus and God knows whatever else I got diagnosed with in my shoulder, you go, holy shit, I have to do this stuff or I'm not even going to be able to do the most basic stuff that I wanted to. So what I wanted to say is, you need to accept so you say, how long should I give this a crack for? Until, those were your exact words, how long, if you're not Australian, giving something a crack is saying like giving it a go. And Greg said, how long should I give this a crack for before I give up and say it's not working for me? For the rest of your life, until the day you die, until you draw your last breath, is how long you should be trying this for.
Yeah.
That literally, there is never ever, like, it's like saying, you know, I don't know, I can't think of a good analogy, but it's just, it's your life, man. There is no giving up. There is, you've got pain and you're a determined person. This is the choice you've got. Do I give up and accept that for the rest of my life, my body and condition is going to get worse? Or do I dedicate my life to making it better? And guaranteed, if you do that, doesn't matter if you never get to being what Yanni and I can do or what an elite level gymnast can do or anything. If you can get better than you are now, is it going to be worth it? Fucking oath, because you know what's going to happen if you don't do it? You'll get worse. Yeah. And do you want to be worse? No way.
The body either regenerates or degenerates. It doesn't usually stay the same. And
you're either moving forwards or backwards. You're never sitting still. You're never going to just stay where you are. If you don't do something to get better, you're going to get worse.
Yeah, that's the big misconception that we seem to grow up believing, is that if we just stay still and be cautious and careful, then we're going to stay the way we are right now. But the reality is that it just doesn't work that way. The body either gets stimulated and adapts and evolves, or it slowly gets lazy and devolves and basically dies slowly, without the right stimulation. So there's a notion that if we do nothing, we'll stay the same, but it couldn't be further from the truth. You will degenerate, you'll get worse. You'll devolve.
Yeah. And I've seen it with some of my closest friends who I told them 20 years ago, if you don't start prioritizing your health, and they, whatever. And 20 years later, they are in the worst state of health that you could possibly be in. It is... Yeah, it's really sad to see,
but I can give you one absolute guarantee, Greg. It's a beautiful journey to go on, mate. And before you know it, once you get stuck into it and you build some really great daily rituals and habits, you'll look back 10 years later and go, "Holy crap! Look where I am now." Yep. Not only have I overcome a spinal fracture, but I am an Adonis. I'm a beast.
Yep.
And I can do amazing things.
And there's a couple. There's a couple of other things that I want to say about this before we finish. One of them is that you will you going back to this idea that you have to test and adjust for yourself. So you have to find what works for you. So if something causes you a lot of pain, then you need to not do that. The other thing is, and you need to find something else. The other thing is like we've just shown you a bunch of stuff for the neck, right? But the neck is a part of the body. And guess what? You can't make your neck good without making your body good. So you can't, we've talked about this a lot in the last couple of weeks of our shows, you can't compartmentalize issues. If you've got neck problems and you've never seen these kind of exercises before and what we do, then by all means, it will be a massive, massive change in your body. But you also need to do the same thing for your entire spine, and you need to watch yesterday or the day before's episode for that. You also need to take care of your shoulders. You need to watch the episode we did a few days ago for that. You also need to take care of your hips. You also need to take care of every joint in your body, you need to take care of your nutrition, and the symptom that you've got should be the thing that motivates you to go, okay, shit, I gotta put more effort into this, and you do need to work on that, but you need to look at your entire body. You need to look at your body as an organism of interconnective processes that when one link in the chain is broken, the whole chain is weakened. That's a great analogy, I think. You know, a chain holds weight on it. If one link in the chain is busted, the whole chain becomes weak. The whole structure is stuffed.
A teacher once said to me that your body is nothing more than just a series of relationships between different systems, and if those relationships aren't working, then the whole system breaks down. And I think that that's really, really important to think about and remind yourself of all the time. You know?
Yeah, and there's one more.
We've got to bring this in for landing.
This is the last thing I want to say, because I love this. Our friend Aaron from Origin of Energy says this one all the time. Your body is a reflection of your environment, and the health and state of your body is a direct reflection of the environment that you've created for it. And if your body is unhealthy, your environment is unhealthy. So you cannot just go, okay, I've got to fuck next, so I've just got to do this every day. You've got to look so much deeper. You've got to look at the pillow that you're sleeping on, the bed that you're sleeping on. When are you going to sleep? Are you getting good quality sleep? How do you sit when you watch TV? How do you sit when you, like, everything has to be analysed. And the one last thing that I was going to say when we're out on the gym floor, the last thing you want to do with neck problems is you want to think of standing with your neck back like that. Whenever you stand, if you watch what happens to my shoulders when I pull my neck back. Straight away, my shoulders come back as well. Yeah. So that one cue of going, because this is what we do when we're at a desk, like what Yanni said, the one cue of pulling your chin back and keeping the weight back on your heels and not on your toes, that's also going to help you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it, guys. Thanks for the question.
Final note, just think about the reality. Are you living to be comfortable or are you living to be optimal? And live to be optimal.
Yeah.
Practice, train every day.
We'll see you tomorrow. Keep the questions coming in and we'll keep answering them for you. Have a great day.
Health is about performance, not just body image.
You better be willing to accept what you're going to have to do to get there.
We'll start focusing on movement goals, strength goals, flexibility goals.
When you nail that skill, it's there forever.
The body image goal doesn't get you that far.
It's the consistency and frequency that's going to get you there. It's not the intensity.
There's no shortcuts to mastery and movement. Destination doesn't change overnight, but your direction will.
The gym is not the place to beat up the body that you hate. It's the place to build the body that you love.
We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image.